Welcome everyone to the Master Box, where today we have another riveting Squire Joust match between GustGod and Duchess Genevia. With me co-casting is going to be the Graham Slam. Grams, go ahead, give your intro.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back into the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the video. So let's just jump into it. On the left in the blue, we have Duchess playing as third Canadian balance. And then on the right, we have GustGod, who's like a regular on this channel at this point.
Yeah.
He's playing 8th Romanian Maverick on Haroshaya. So a good old OG map with some pretty unique divisions here with the good old Maverick balanced throwdown. So it should be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see 8th Cavalry in a Maverick format is actually a pretty good setup, because I don't really think they have like that long-lasting like ability. But in a Maverick position, they got some really good units, so I'm really excited to see how they fare up against the 3rd Canadian.
Yeah, it will be interesting going Maverick with it. I agree with you. I don't know if the longevity is quite there with it. I think it's a weird division, kind of like a lot of the Romanian ones that were added in. They play a little, they can be a little unique in how they play and in the setup of the equipment and stuff. So, but I think Maverick, there's a lot of aggressive infantry you can use, and on Haroshaya, there's a couple of good spots on the map where that can work. I do worry long term though, if you can't get a knockout punch with 8th. 3rd Canadian could kind of grind you down.
Yeah, especially with 3rd Canadian having all those different, APCs. Like you got the kangaroo rifles in the Sherman Hull. You got a lot of off map. The command stewards. You have a lot of light armor to include these staghounds that are just basically. It's just a bukkake over here against the Romanians. The staghound in the south is basically pushing up undeterred. The Hotchkiss is the only thing that might be able to penetrate it, but I doubt that. And then if you look in the center town, you also have a Staghound that killed off one of the 222s. So the Staghounds are doing the Lord's work right now.
Absolutely. I am a little curious why GustGod kind of chose for the deployment path that he took down south. A lot of times, on this portion of his side of Haroshaya, you unload your infantry in the forest and just walk them up so you can avoid that exact situation. I know he brought the 45 there probably to protect them, but that did cause a lot of his infantry here to be unloaded. They're being forced back, which will allow these assault pioneers to kind of set up in the heavy forest and kind of get ready for that CQC grind. But long term, I don't think that's a winning fight for Duchess. Really, I think for Duchess, you just want to hold that for as long as possible to prevent any ticking. And actually, he's ticking GustGod, so that right there would be a nice little dub for him. Though we do see a Tehran 2 in the middle of the town dying to a Wolverine there. It's not quite the matchup you want the Tehran in.
Oh, no. So real quick, because, we're trying to help the player base out here. You put the 45 in this area here, just trying to cover off any of that reinforcement route. And then you're going to see where this Tehran is going. You're going to unload over in that area right here and just move your troops up, and then you can take that fight if you want, instead of just coming out down here. And again, just trying to put out a little bit of information for like newer players that may watch the channel. But
yeah, I also think, well, from GustGod, real quick, from his perspective, I think you need to deploy heavy in the middle. Going back into the middle, if there's a really heavy armored presence, like the longer that goes on, you're going to those rifles pit, they'll set up. They have Staghound support, Sherman support. That might be really difficult for GustGod to break, which means he might need to figure out like a different plan of attack if he's going to want to get a double tick, which obviously is typically where you as a Maverick player, that's how you win the game, right? You not the long grind. You blow your opponent's front open and you tick them all the way down quickly.
Yeah, like trying to blow their back out as fast as possible is the Maverick way.
Well said, sir. Well said. But it will be curious to see, because the Tehran 2, while it is better than it used to be at dealing with Shermans, it's still not like, you need to make sure the heat round is on. Like, that's a very big, I think, factor when you're engaging in Shermans with a Hungarian armor, which really, you just use the Tehran 2. We know that's a Hungarian piece of equipment. Now, these 60mm mortars, they can really hard carry these Romanian divisions if they're used correctly. One thing that I would be curious to see, is he going to use it for HEs, use it for smoke? Which infantry combos you're going to bring out, because there's some nasty pairings you can do. But right now, Duchess is kind of in the driver's seat here with 1410.
Yeah, I think Duchess is in the driver's seat just because she has that beachhead into that forest from that deployment that's a little bit shaky. But again, newer players trying to like learn from the mistakes here. But the big thing in the center is, and I'm not gonna lie, with the 60 mil mortars, I get lazy and I just put them on defensive fire and I throw the infantry in, and then the AI basically just targets everything for me. And those 60 mil mortars are so amazing at turning any infantry fight into a positive infantry fight for you, because they don't need to kill, they need to pin.
Right. No, I'm personally, I'm old school. I like to constantly micro my mortars myself. So I'm very much like putting, shift commanding the orders for them. I would not use them to harass the Sherman or the AA unless I have planes coming in. So unless like Crusader AA actually is, I kind of like this idea here from Duchess because of the lack of anti-tank capability for GustGod on the heavy side. That Crusader AA pace can almost be like a technical, just dropping that 20 mil into this infantry here. I mean, we see he doesn't even need it right now, but Command Steward, Sherman, Staghound, he's going to need something heavier here, or all this infantry is just going to die. And we do see the Jagdpanzer 38T coming out. He might need 2 of those, I think, to really change the middle situation, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to see. Now, with the Crusader AA, I really like using them just like you would use like an autocannon car in a German division, but it's Commonwealth, so it's even more fucked.
Yeah, it is interesting. You can definitely use it. The problem would be if you get it blown up, right? You lost a critical AA piece pretty early. The way AA kind of is today, right? Like, this isn't like 2 years ago where you needed every single AA piece to really stop planes. Nowadays, 2 well-placed Bofors and you can pretty much shut down a whole area.
Well, that's because Bofors are like just absolutely crazy good, though. So
yeah, they're chads.
Yeah,
and we do see more 60mm mortars, but this is a very aggressive deployment here. He needs to put these because there's a chance that Staghound can pick these off. Yeah, I mean, he is getting some nice shots in, but his infantry took a lot of unnecessary damage. Oh yeah, and then he just loses
one loss. Yep.
And they lose both. I would almost just smoke in front of it. I would smoke in front of it and try and back it out if possible. Big reinforcement and dump coming in here, but that's kind of like we have basically a major engagement here where both players are recognizing, okay, the middle is the critical spot. For GustGod, it's got to get stabilized. If you're getting double ticked, or getting double ticked in A phase against balance, you're very hard to come back from that from an extended period of time. Your best hope would be that the balance player overextends and then you punish him.
Yep. And if we look down south, we have a push going on, a Venatori de Gada, and the Pioneers with support from the leader. So we're going to see what the Assault Pioneers. Yeah, but Assault Pioneers,
but the HP will matter. The veterancy curve will matter as well. Obviously, though, getting pushed off position cause extra damage. And you're right, the Assault Pioneers, because they have the shock trait now, is what I think makes that a worse fight. But overall, he will win this engagement. The question is just cost.
Yeah. And it looks like he's going to win the engagement handily. And one thing I'm going to point out here about GustGod is the fact that he brought up that 47 mil, and he just has to put it up and he'll cut off any reinforcements. He's got the 45 north of the breachhead that he's put in, and he's got the 47 that he's putting in too. So
and I would like him to put the Zrini up into a better spot here. And he is doing that. This is great. You put it on that hill right there. A lot of big-time players have been doing this for years. You can fire down a chief, either fire position or even get some direct shots. Oh, but nasty Spitfire bomb there, killing off one of the Pioneering and severely damaging the Venatori. So I would probably fall that back if I was him. But it probably could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse because they were pretty clumped up, and now we're seeing... Yeah. He's still got at least 13 combat men.
Over.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is very rare in a low skill, like, not let's say low skill, but newer player. Excuse me. I apologize for that. Where he's repositioning his units, realizing, hey, they were taking a bad route. I can put them somewhere else. Yeah. I'm not sure if I agree with where he's putting them, but you don't see that very often. Most new players, they just send it. Like, regardless of what's happening on the front, they're just sending it. So it's really nice to see him like, okay, hey, let me switch their position here and get a better angle for an engagement.
Now, do you think he's going to try to push those Calorossi Molto up to where the left of the Jagdpanzer 38T?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Try and get an angle there. That Jagdpanzer 38T, for the most part, can dominate this. The Wolverine, if it gets the right engagements, that could obviously change it, and there's a 6-pounder with magical APCR coming. So, the Jagdpanzer 38T isn't going to be able to just do whatever he wants to do, but he can do some damage. And these early Spitfire buys, I don't really love that from a balance player. Yeah, big pick off there by GustGod. Yep. I'm huge, did suicide, though, that 45 mil Kamikaze did. I'm never a real big fan of buying planes as balanced in A. All that tells me if I'm the Maverick player is that's 105, 110, 130 points you don't have on the front line. Yep. I'm going to go put that into the front line.
All right, now I'm going to point out that these 16mm mortars have been lobbing shells the entire game.
Figure out.
I want to see them lob some smoke to be able to push in those Venatori de Gadas and get them into knife fighting range with these rifles, Piats.
Yeah, because they will the double Bren can be kind of nice. CQC having the MP28, that is one of the that is a decent submachine gun, I believe, from my last real. I believe it's slightly better than like the MP40, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, but a nice pick off of the infantry there by the Wolverine. GustGod losing one squad. He might lose the guard squad here.
He lost it too. Yep.
Yep, he lost both of them, and I believe why the entire squad's die is due to the damage value of the Wolverine.
Correct.
The Wolverine
and we also have that Jagdpanzer and the 222, the AB Horsch, killing off that magical 6-pounder you were talking about.
Yeah, very good tag team right there. We see a cluster HS-129. I don't think that's needed. I understand why he bought that, but if I was him, I would buy another Jagdpanzer. Like, I would get another Jagdpanzer. He's having a hard time as third Canadian dealing with this. And he might continue if the Wolverines can't get engagements. Now, there is 3 of them, though, and he did force out a Bofors call-out, but that probably means all this airplay is going to come to an end.
Yep. But at the same time, I want to point out the fact that, like, I would honestly say more Terrans. Just because if we look here, the light armor is what's killing off this push and blunting it between the Crusader AA, the AB Stuart, and even the Wolverine. You can penetrate the Wolverine with those heat shells on those Terrans. Like, you can do the Lord's work.
Yes. Yeah, you should have masked them. I think the best way to look at the Piat. Oh, he did actually.
Oh!
Big move there by the Piat.
Run the Jagdpanzer.
GustGod needs to be careful here. There's no infantry screen that's left flank of the dying transport. Wolverine side shot there. Yeah, huge pick off there for Duchess.
Yeah, that rifle's Piat, like, you don't see those 25-point squads actually do anything until just then.
Yeah, and then 2 hits. Yeah, that almost never happens. We see this JU-288 here. I don't like that call out by GustGod. I really think that this situation was kind of stabilizing. We saw a massive swing there. That's an expensive plane just to kill a 6 HP rifle team. I think he really I think one more Jagdpanzer, a couple of Terrans, and then some infantry would have done a better job. But here we go. We see down south he is pushing. Yep. Question is, will he be able to get a... I'm not sure how he's going to be able to kill the Sherman.
I'm not a fan of this push just because he's overextending so heavily at this point down south to where he could just continue to like focus into the center.
To me, it feels like a panic push.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Bleeding. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to do it, but there is a question of how is he going to kill the Shermans, which is real. Now, a Rosita could do work on some Sherman booty. That's definitely a fact. We see attack.
It's coming in.
Which is actually really cool. That's a cool unit that they added into the game with the DLC, but I imagine that's going more towards the middle. Yeah, I doubt that's a left side thing.
Oh, this Kalarashi, like the Sherman doesn't see it because there's no infantry. It could get in there with that Panzerfaust. Oh, it's so risky though. The Kalarashi, the sniper.
Yeah, unit. He might be able to. Yeah, I forget that they have a Panzerfaust there, but he's moving it too far forward. If he's moved to the side there, he might be able to. Yeah. But this might get cut off. I don't know. And he still has an infantry unit that's unloaded. Mm-hmm. And stormtroopers are coming up. I think they'll clear that out. So long term, I don't think that this is going to work. Now, it did buy him some time. Like that's undeniable. It stopped some of the double tick. But they might all die, in which case that would not be bueno.
Very true. That is no bueno. And then in the center of town, we have 2 Humbers that completely went around the town and now are engaging the 60mm mortars. And we're seeing...
Yeah, and there's no armor here. Oh, we see... So 2 R2s are coming. But yeah, there's really not a lot of... There's not a lot of substance to GustGod's position in the center. Yeah. Right now, honestly, Duchess could just sacrifice the Rifles Piats to spot the infantry here. And, I mean, look, we have Kangaroos in here, Command Stewarts, another Command Armored Vehicle, Wolverines, the Crusader AA. Like, he really could bully this position if he wanted to.
He can. I think he's... I think that the player is being really cautious, and I think that's going to cost them blowing out the Maverick player. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that level of cautiousness. Now, if you look down south, we're seeing more Rifles Piats coming in along with the 2 Shermans. So that's a really big investment. Now, just pushing those stormtroopers in there would probably be the best thing just to see if they have anything, you know?
No, I agree with you, and I don't think the decision here, because the J7 is going to come in and try and get some bombing, it might do some damage here, but the question is at what cost, right? If you're trying to prevent an assault across the open there, I really don't think that's going to affect it. As you see, it doesn't. You know, it basically misses. I don't think it did any HP whatsoever either. And so some of the unit call-out choices here for GustGod as the situation has deteriorated have not been, I would say, ideal for the situation. And so now he is in a rough spot because the balanced player has the momentum deep into B phase, and that's never what you want as a Maverick player.
Yeah, because right now we're seeing Duchess just build up points, build up forces, and what's going to happen is the dam is going to break real hard, real quick, and we're going to have to see GustGod.
He can do it now. Like, I mean, this is one thing I'd say for Duchess. This, maybe feels kind of affecting him a little bit, but right now he could 100% break through this front line, can wipe it all the way to the back, get a double tick. I mean, honestly, as GustGod, I don't know what you do to break that without off map.
Yeah, and then the Rashidza's doing the Lord's work. It already took out one Wolverine, and it's engaging a Sherman DD right now.
Yeah, and that's what he needs. He needs some big picks to get him back into this position, because time is kind of going against him. When you're a Maverick player, you're always on a clock. Oh, great picks by the Rosita.
Yeah, and the attack of R2 killed one of the Shermans down south, too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he needs. But on the flip side, there's still, 2 more Wolverines, multiple Kangaroos. This Kangaroo's chilling. A Sherman 3, which would help deal with that Rosita on the other side. So, yeah, there is a lot here. He's getting some nice picks, but he's going to have to kind of put pedal to the, what do they call it? Pedal to the metal?
Pedal to the metal. Jesus, you don't even know that term? What? What?
I'm just, working through it. I forgot for a second. Yeah, I'm not grandpa status like you. I'm still young and vibrant.
Yeah. Like when you like forget little euphemisms like that, we can still call you young and vibrant over there.
I'm still young, still sub 30. But these things matter.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'm going to be the hippest granddad in the fucking nursing home. I'm going to have the coolest walker.
You're going to have that hot PC setup in the game room. They're going to be like, what's he doing? I'm still casting Steel Division 2 30 years later.
It's still the same 10 people playing it, too.
Right. The game will die when we all finally die. Eugen stops giving us servers. One of the two.
More than likely, Eugen stops giving us servers. And if you look down south, we're seeing some clusters used against these Shermans. Oh, what?
Yeah. That's not a great cluster play, that H129. Sometimes you have to bring it, right? Because you have no other option. But it gets a slightly bad spread, and it's not killing. Yeah, and then a bounce right there on the Sherman against the attack MR2. But he has, I think, at least stopped any danger in the south.
Correct. And now he just has to worry about stemming the bleed in the center. But it looks like he's building up for a push in the north? What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike a northern push, especially as a more infantry-focused div. Yeah. The problem now is, you're getting into, like, the danger territory here, where whatever you do now for the next 3-4 minutes will decide the fate of this game. And you have to take the north. It can be hard to take back, but you really got to blow through it. You got to do it quick. And then from that point, the middle position is still pretty strong here for Duchess.
Very true. And then the Wolverines can be swung around to wherever that Jagdpanzer 38T is, because that's the only thing that's going to stop anything from Duchess is those Jagdpanzer 38Ts. Maybe the Zarinis?
Yeah, the Zarini maybe. Yeah, that could. I mean, the Jagdpanzer 38Ts, it's going to... I really would like to see him be aggressive with them. He did lose one, which was to a Piet push, right? Like, if he has infantry screening his armor here, it is going to be difficult for Duchess to deal with them. There's no 17-pounder here yet. There is one coming, as I said. Oh, but it's actually going up to the far backside. So, yeah, there's a lot of room to play here. Yeah. Now, the mortars are out of ammo. That hurts. Lost 2 mortars in transports. That hurts. Some of these... these small things that happen in the middle of the game, early portion of the game, are now really starting to affect his ability to try and, get ahead.
Exactly. And if you look up north, he's even getting some armor, like an R2 and a Tehran 2. Again, remember, turn off the AP shells every time you bring out Tehran 2s. That's all. That I will keep preaching that word. That is gospel. Yeah. Turn off the AP shells.
There's 0 point having the AP shell on. If it ran out of heat ammo, then it's the greatest Tehran 2 that ever lived in the game. So there really isn't one. The heat shell is what's going to do the damage for you, and that's just something you got to remember.
Yep. He's actually pushing up in the center town.
We see it going. Rosori in front. I would like to see the infantry moving with it. He doesn't have a lot of infantry here either, but I do think he has to make moves. Like right now is the moment where he needs to try and break this position open.
Yeah, like either that or just do... All right, he's launching the attack up north maybe with this bomber being the onset.
Yeah, this is the signal. It's like the cannons in like the Civil War shooting at one time. So everybody knows, hey, it's time to go, boys. The bombs went in.
Oh shit! But it worked.
Great drop though. Great drop. That was probably
push out. Yes, yes. Ride to the cavalry.
Yeah, and now he's got to send it. 8th Cav got to go in hot right now because the game's on the line for him right here. This is do or die. This next 2 minutes will determine if he's going to be able to win this game because he needs to get into like a 15-9 position and be able to defend it.
Yep. And I think that down south between Duchess and GustGod, they're just like, nope, not fucking with this. We're just going to stay it as is. But Duchess has just built up such a strong and overwhelming
but this
force.
counter bomb here could be absolutely destructive. All this infantry is unloaded and extremely grouped up. There's no leader as well, no AA. He could just strike it like, almost like strategic bombing style. Yeah, this is disgusting right here. We need fallback orders immediately to save. Okay, the other Mosquito didn't, but that was a huge counter bombing run right there by Duchess.
Yeah, like Duchess just knew exactly where it was. And she can't even, like, he or she can't even see that area. So that was just really good guesswork.
Yeah, I mean, from there, you're just looking at the front line. You're like, okay, I see where it's morphed. He probably saw the transports running. We should have been on his viewpoint. It would have been interesting at that point. Saw the transports were lined up right there and just kind of carpet bombed it, which worked. But he's, GustGod can still get in here. Like, there's still infantry alive. The horse needs to, I would try and get the horse into an angle to help. Though the rifle speed will lose to the Vanatory de Garda right there. Well, they should. Even being entrenched, they should still lose out there. But he needs to move quickly because there are kangaroo rifles coming.
Yep. More south
in the middle.
South happening down. Ooh, this is just like a little all-out push. And in the south, we got a Sherman engaging the attack MR2's down.
Yeah, the Bofors getting killed in the middle here could be huge by the Kalasari Moto. We have more infantry being unloaded. The Tacum, the horse, I think, should probably get a little aggressive here as well. There is an opportunity in the middle. He's whittled down a lot of this armor over time, though he will lose this Rosita. One big thing for both players is fallback orders. Got to hit the fallback order when your units are getting pinned. A lot of free HP has been lost by both players.
Yeah, and I will say, with the newest update coming out on April 9th, so currently the fallback order prevents 75% damage, which is fucking ungodly.
It's an insane amount.
It's an insane amount. You just always auto do it. But with the newest update...
Oh, huge double strike by the HS-129.
But with the newest update, it's only going to be 50% damage reduction or less. I don't know, something like that. I heard Attack Power say it. So we're going to see an interesting concept here of the fallback. It's like, do you actually stay and fight and just absorb it, or do you fall back? And that also means disheartened infantry are about to take a little bit more of a hit because they used to be so durable because they would just instantly fall back. Yeah,
it is an interesting change. We'll have to see how that plays out. Over time. But right now in this game playing out is the counterattack here by GustGod. There is the opportunity. He needs to roll this up further a little bit. He needs to nag that last flag up north here, that Vanatory de Garda to push up.
Ooh, that Jagdpanzer is just, it's so beautifully done. It just killed off a Crusader AA. The Wolverine's not shooting it though, but I'm surprised that he was even able to get this much of a foothold in there.
He did a good job getting a lot of picks, a lot of little picks. Put him in a good position here. Now he just needs to commit. At this point, you want to get that 15-9 going, because even though he has outtraded the past 10 minutes, for sure, there's no doubt. But you don't want the balance player to have time to recover. And especially in this situation, third Canadian, you can build that.
Jagdpanzer, kill again on a Wolverine. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the Jagdpanzers have just asserted their dominance here on the Wolverines. Wolverines, they can deal with Jagdpanzers,
yes.
But I would say that's not the ideal fight for them.
Oh no.
They would much rather prefer to fight, probably like Panzer IVs, for example.
But that Wolverine got the revenge.
Yeah, that one got it, but there's still one left. So this is still a very winnable situation here for GustGod in the middle, with that hero Wolverine, though, just trying to buy some time. The Priest 105 buyout up north, I don't really like that. For Duchess right now. Duchess needs more front line. The front line is very, very thin in both the north and in the middle.
Well, what's crazy is in the north, the Terrans are actually fighting the Shermans in some...
Yeah, and this could be big here.
Bounce,
Oh, no, we got the bounce there. He did get the one... I believe he did pin, though.
But we have the 45 mils actually killing off all the stuff over here. And a 47 and the Panzer Shrek, so... What killed that Sherman, though?
I'm not sure. Maybe the 45. The two APCR shells have been fired.
Oh, fair.
So I'm not 100% positive on that, but it's definitely possible.
Now, I do believe that Duchess...
16-8 now.
Yeah, I think that Duchess can stabilize, though. I do have some faith that we'll be able to keep seeing this game go on. Oh, the Priest 105 is just direct firing now. Woo!
Yeah, it's a danger close situation here. The Panzerstreak honestly should be the one that moves on the Sherman 3. The Rosori is not going to get there in the light force. The Sherman will see it. He got thermal sights in that tank. But yeah, more Sherman 3s coming out, which really isn't what he needs because Vanatory to Care are coming, which is a perfect answer to really lock down that town and heavy forest line for any type of armor supporting push. 4 Kangaroo rifles are going into the middle. The problem now with the middle is the armor's gone. So the TAC R2 can push up, the Jagdpanzer 38T can push up, and if you're GustGod, I think he just needs to keep it rolling. Like, this train can't have any breaks anymore.
Nope, you gotta blow out the walls, and this is really thin right now, and he can do it.
Absolutely. He's in a very good spot. He fought his way back into it. It looked very bleak about 15 minutes ago.
Yep.
But right now is not the time to stop because you don't want any stabilization to happen. And you'd be surprised, as a Maverick player against a Balance player, it can happen. You know, next thing you know, you've done a couple bad trades on your own end, and bam, the Balance player's right back in the game, and you're looking at a 25-minute grind fest.
Yep, because the Balance player, like, they do have the income advantage, and they can do the grinding game. You, as a Maverick player, cannot. But this TACM, this TACM...
Going for the air now is going to be great for him because he did kill that Bofors and the Crusader, so he's going to be able to get free damage here with this ghetto Romanian Air Force. Now, on the flip side, the Mosquitoes are going to be fully active. The question is, like that 3 Mosquito buy, you know, maybe we should have said this at the time, did you need 3 Mosquitoes to try and stop that attack? Because in reality, it didn't work out, didn't stop the attack, and it's a lot of points.
Yep. But we are seeing combined arms being moved into the town through Duchess. She's got the Sherman, the 2 more Kangaroo rifles, and we're seeing an Air Force being used here. But I don't see any AA from GustGod. He just said, fuck it, pedal to the metal, only go.
No, he's got the 109 G2 is the AA. He's role-playing Romania at the end right there. But, yeah, so the G2 is going to get on this Mosquito here, another big pick, which is the second big fighter pick for him. You know, he's done a very good job of when bombers are in the air, keep a fighter loitering, and he's got a Spitfire and a Mosquito kill.
Yep. And we have more investment of Bofors 40 mils. I don't like that. 1 Bofors, maybe, and some more Kangaroo rifles. Just bodies on the front line, honestly.
Well, he bought the 2 because of the planes. It's a panic buy. It's like, oh, plane. I need to get out multiple Bofors. The problem is, like, the planes don't matter if he can't stabilize this front.
This TACM R2 that's been watching the center has just been absolute hell for Duchess.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to be difficult. And the Sherman here, I mean, the Jagdpanzer 38T could push up and basically just assert his dominance. There's nothing right now on the map that can deal with a Panzer 38T from the front.
I disagree. They have Piats. They have Piats and Faith in Montgomery.
Yeah,
we know that's a lie.
I ain't buying that. You ain't telling me on that one.
Well, to be fair, we did see a Rifles Piat earlier kill a 222 and a Panzer 38T, just because got a little bit careless.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that was a great moment in the game that really gave, you know, Duchess a lot of momentum here in the middle. But to be fair, kind of, it's been wasted.
Yep, and that TACM
down.
And the TACM.
The Priest really is a huge. Like, I don't think it really matters that much, but it is funny that it got clustered and the Sherman will still be alive.
Well, no, the TACM R2 just killed the other Sherman in the center of the town. Like, now there is
no... up north. But yes, the TACM R2.
Up north,
The TACM R2s have done a very good job in this game. No doubt.
This is one thing I hate about Allied armor, especially Western Allies with their 50 cals on the roof, is they will just engage the aircraft and stop moving instead of moving to where you want them to move. Yeah,
it's a just like you gotta take into account, having 50 cals is really nice, right? There's a lot of benefit to that. Then on the flip side, any plane that's in the air and, you know, right above them, they're like, I can shoot it down, bro. I've got this. I am the AA now. That Bofors is already almost suppressed. One of them is suppressed. Yep. Really, like, the middle is only still partially in Duchess's control because GustGod allows it to be, which is just kind of wild. Considering where we're at in this game at the point.
Yeah. The fact this is balanced in Maverick and the Maverick player is still bullying the balanced at this point is, interesting.
Yeah, it's well, once you But when the Maverick player gets that momentum, and if they don't seed it back, it can be very difficult for balanced players, especially if they lack heavy firepower.
Yeah.
And while 3rd Canadian does have some decent armor, it does have off-map, but it doesn't really, it does have some APCs and stuff like that. It can be difficult to retake an entrenched position, especially when there's heavy armor. And for this game right now, the Jagdpanzer 38T is the heavy armor.
That is very true, and the Wolverines are about your only real option, or a 17-pounder down that main road. But again, that's a lot of investment for whenever they're still trying to take the town,
Right, absolutely. Like, it can work, and it was working to a certain point, but once it, kind of like fell off kilter a little bit, it was very difficult to deal with. And now, as you see this game, I think this is clearly GustGod's going to walk away with the victory here. Well-deserved one, as we continue to see the middle collapse. A little more push, and there would be nothing. And even then, at this point, he's also traded so negatively on the tail end of this game. It's going to be hard to kind of tell. Like, you have to look at the chronography. Excuse me. Yeah, there's the Bofors going down there. Yep. I would expect a tap out soon.
I agree. What we're seeing up north, though, too, is that push that came out of nowhere completely destabilized Duchess, and we just see an overinvestment of armor into the areas that armor...
Here come the Fireflies.
Yeah. Armor really shouldn't be in as much.
Can't you bring the Fireflies in B as 3rd Canadian?
I think so, and I would highly recommend bringing the Fireflies in B.
Like, he probably brings them in C because he's balanced. Like, it's probably... Yeah. This is where, if you know your opponent before the match, when you guys have picked your decks, this is where you take a minute real quick and just change it around. The Fireflies in B would have probably been the right move there. Now, Jagdpanzer 38Ts can still be annoying. The difference is that the Jagdpanzer 38T isn't bouncing the Firefly. At least most likely, you're not... Whereas, the Wolverine, we saw it. We saw a couple bounces there, which was the game, which decided the Wolverine versus Jagdpanzer 38T fights.
Yep. Oh, and we're seeing south of the city, we're seeing GustGod pushing there and displacing that Rifles Piat. He's going to be able to take that flag, too.
Yeah, I mean, he could have taken almost all the flags by now. Besides the south, really, if he really wanted to. The north, obviously, that's still more contentious, but we see Vanatory that cares. Like I said, getting pickoffs there with the Panzerschreck. If those Shermans move into forest, this is almost anything in any tank. You move into a heavy forest when your opponent has multiple different cards of Panzerschrecks, you're just playing with fire. You're waiting for one of them to pop one of your nice little fancy tanks.
Yep, see another one?
Yeah. This one fired? Yep. And this is not the Piat. The Panzerschreck hits like 99% of the time.
It is 90%. That is a 30-point squad. Venatoid Nakana used to be one of my favorite units just because I could use them as a pioneer. I could use them as a Panzerschreck.
They're a very good unit. There's almost no situation. A lot of players, at least used to, you wouldn't bring both the Panzerschreck and the Vanatory card. You would just bring the Vanatory card because you couldn't justify the AT slot in a lot of decks. But I believe with 8th, it's perfectly fine. Like, that's not a problem with them. I mean, we see the Pioneer Assault here, which really, that's one of the premier shock infantry units in the game. Basically, we haven't got to watch it do much action, but they are annihilating these Kangaroo Rifles. They still have 3 Brins and 4 Stins. They're not like, some piss poor CQC squad, but just annihilate between the shock trade, Molotovs, and 4 Berettas.
Yeah, the Commonwealth infantry, we're looking at the cream of the crop with these Kangaroo Rifles, but Commonwealth infantry just are not in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, they've never been great. And the Rosita just popping both Fireflies right there.
Yeah, that was the point.
Yeah, the Rosita once again proving that she one of the best anti-tank pieces in the game, versatile. We see there GustGod coming away with a very well-deserved victory, and the KD really turned around. I mean, you could see it there start to happen, and it just about that. Really, that 14-minute mark is when 14:40 is where that just completely flipped.
Yeah, like you could see Duchess just really holding on up into the 15-minute part. That's where she had that center town, had the north, had the south, and then GustGod out of nowhere just plows through. So it was really good to see that even though it was towards the middle of Maverick, he still pushed through and kept that momentum going.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like for a while Duchess was going to win that game. I mean, for the first half, it definitely felt that way, but, excuse me, GustGod never broke kept it kind of together, took some losses, and then when the counter got a couple picks, and that's really important to remember in any type of RTS. Get a couple picks. Just get yourself into a nice little positive KD rhythm, and then figure out where you're going to go from there. That's exactly what happened. And then sometimes, you know, you get a couple tanks here, a couple infantry pieces here, bam, next thing you know, you've blown open the front.
Especially when you're looking at like 80-point Shermans or 110-point Fireflies or, you know, any of those larger pointed like items that, you know, once you kill them, you're going to start being able to push in that area.
Yeah, Breda 47 up north killed 2 Shermans and a Staghound.
Whew!
And that's just huge, you know, huge points to a very cheap unit. Like when that's happening for you, it's very hard to lose the game. When you're getting that kind of return on your investment in a very cheap AT unit. I mean, the BF-109G2 here, 3 plane kills for, you know, a relatively cheap fighter plane.
Yep.
Rosita with 3 tank kills. Yeah, just very, very good play out of there from GustGod, especially about halfway onwards. Just really turned it on.
Exactly. And with that, everyone, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet, because, you know, more content, more likes. I enjoy them. You enjoy the content. Let's let's make a deal here.
Like it.
Yeah, like it. And with that, I'd like to say thank you, everyone, for sticking through this long, and we look forward to bringing you more Steel Division content in the future.
All right.
All right, and with that, bye, everyone.